Hi guys, I'm Ismail Sheikh. Today we are going to learn about the aggregate function in SQL. So first we will check the definition part, and later we will check what are the types in aggregate functions, and we will also check an example so that we can understand aggregate function in a better way. So first of all, what is an aggregate function? SQL aggregate function is used to perform calculations on multiple rows of single column of a table. It returns a single value. So let's say if there is a table and we want to combine all the values and I need a result and I want a single value result. In that case, you can use aggregate function. It is also used to summarize the data. So if I want to summarize data for this particular table, you can use an aggregate function. And also, an aggregate function performs calculations for one or more values and returns a single value. What does that mean? So let's say if this is a table and it contains uh, 6 values, and let's say if I want to count how many members are there in this table, in this case I can use aggregate function and I can pull up the count. Or let's say if I want to pull up the maximum salary or the minimum salary or average salary, you can use aggregate function. That will be easy way to do that. So let's check what are the various aggregate functions offered in SQL. So the first one is count. As it says count, it will give you count of all the values for the column. Let's say if I want to know the count of ID, I will just have to add ID in the count and you will get the result as 6. Similarly, for sum, as the name says, it's sum. It will give you the addition of all the values for a column. Let's say if I want to know the sum of the salary, you can just mention salary within sum and you will get sum of all the salaries in the table. You have to also specify the table name at the end. We will check that in the practical part, so don't worry about that. For average, you use AVG and then you have to specify the column name. If I want to know the average salary, you can just add it here and it will give you the average salary of all the employees. Similarly, for minimum and maximum, if you want to know the minimum salary of any employee, you can just add salary here and you will get the minimum salary of the employee, and vice versa for maximum as well. So now if I want to know all the values, let's say if I want to know the average of all the tables, you don't have to specify salary and or anything. You can just add star and it will give you all the average values of this particular column or particular table. So you just have to add asterisk symbol and it will give you all the values. Also, you can use group by clause and combine your results to give you give a meaning to your result. Meaning, if you want to combine multiple columns and give you a result which can give a particular meaning, you can use group by clause. We will check an example on group by clause as well. So let's move to the practical part. Now let's check the practical part, how you can do or how you can use aggregate function in SQL. So first I have already created a table which is scorecard. I'm just going to pull up all the values so that we know what's in this table. So you can see there are multiple columns here which contains ID, subject, score and name. So I'm going to perform the aggregate function practical on this particular table. So if I want name of if I want the student which has maximum score, so how I can do that? So by using maximum function, it's possible to pull up this value. So I'm just going to add this query, select. I'm going to use max as my aggregate function because I want to pull up the maximum value. And then I'm going to specify the column name, that's score, because I want maximum score which is in that column. And I'm going to specify the column, the table name, that's scorecard. So I'll just give you the recap. I'm selecting the maximum score from scorecard. So let's check if it works. Let's select it and execute it. So there you go, 99 is the maximum value. So let's check if it's true. Let's execute our table which was earlier. Yep. So yes, 99 is the maximum value in the score table, score column, sorry. So if I want the minimum value from the same score column, how will you get that? You will have to add a minimum as your aggregate function. Let's select this and execute it. There you go, you get the minimum value. Now you see there is no column name added here. If you want to add any column name, you can just give a space and add your column name. I'm going to give minimum score and execute it. There you go, you see minimum score is added here. And now I want to know the count of number of students which are in scorecard table. Let's check manually first. There are 11 records here, right? So the 11 should be the output. So let's count without doing it manually. By just adding a star here, we can pull up all the count. I'm going to give a name of this particular column, should be our result, count of table, let's say table. Now I'll give you a recap what I did here. I'm selecting count and I'm adding an asterisk here. That means it will pull up all the values and it will count it. And I'm specifying the table name here, that's scorecard. Select it and execute it. You will get the count, that's 11. Similarly, you can add any column name here. I'm going to add score again, and I will change this to score, and let's execute it again, and you will see it will give the same result. So it will give you the count. Now I want to pull up the average score. How will you do that? You have to use average aggregate function. So I will just add AVG and we'll select this and execute this. So 73 is our average score. So that's how you can use these aggregate functions. This is very simple function which is provided by SQL Server Management Studio. You can play around with the group clause as well. So if I want to add, if you want to know names of the maximum values, let's say max, and I want to know names as well of those students who secured maximum score. So I'm going to add group by clause here, and I'm going to give name as my column, which will be sorted with score. Now let's check if this works. So it will be sorted with name, and but it's not giving you names of the student who secured these score. Now for that you just have to mention that in the select statement. I'm going to add name as my column, and we'll execute this again. So there you go. I'm going to give max here. So let's execute this. So there you go. Anil secured 88, which is the highest mark for him. Ismail secured 99, which is the highest for him. Ramesh secured 76, which is highest for him. And Shiv secured 98, and so on. So let's check if it's true. Let's combine these two statements and run it. So Ismail had 80 in Hindi and 99 in science and 90 in maths, but the maximum value for Ismail is 99. So it's mentioned here in the second statement, which was used by aggregate function and group by clause. And so on for Ramesh. Ramesh secured 76 as his highest. Yes. And so on for Shiv. Shiv secured 98. Similarly, I can pull up the minimum value as well if I want. You can just add minimum, and you can just change the name to minimum and execute this. So it will give you the minimum values by for each student. So that's how you can use aggregate function, and you can combine group clause with it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Let's learn. I'll be coming up with all the SQL videos in future. So I just need your support. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned. Thank you.